In the run-up to Disclosure Day, I am watching and reviewing as many Spielberg movies as I possibly can, and today we are talking about 1941. Right, so 1941, released in 1979. It's a war comedy film, and this one is a total shit show, which is kind of crazy. Again, directed by Steven Spielberg and written by Robert Zemeckis, who did Back to the Future. Film stars an ensemble cast including Dan Aykroyd, Ned Beatty, John Belushi, John Candy, Christopher Lee, Tim Matheson, Robert Stack, Nancy Allen, and Mickey Rourke. Story involves panic in the Los Angeles area after the December 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor. I've never been so shocked by a Steven Spielberg movie. I am stunned how bad it is. Steven Spielberg cannot do slapstick comedy, in my opinion, because this movie was just full of punches and fights and the kind of stereotypical slapstick stuff, and none of it was funny. I didn't laugh at anything in this movie whatsoever. The performances just felt tired. It felt like no one was really invested. The film actually, for Steven Spielberg directing this, the film feels directionless and it's way too long. The runtime is like 118 minutes, 146 minutes if you're watching the director's cut. This movie's become more of a cult movie, and it's actually quite well known by critics as one of the worst Spielberg movies ever made. So I was watching this movie, and then sort of 20 minutes in, and I realized that no jokes had landed, and I was kind of shocked by that. There's a Jaws spoof in the movie, and the way they did that spoof, you'd think Steven Spielberg would have been able to make it look better than it did, but it just felt really badly done. Loads of familiar faces in this. Lorraine Gray is in this, from who played Brody's wife in Jaws. But even Christopher Lee is like not doing much in the movie. He's just there. Like, I don't quite understand what the thought process was around this, to be honest. Someone needs to tell Spielberg that falling over in 100 different ways isn't slapstick comedy or a bunch of fist fights. There's a few dance segments in this movie, and they just don't go anywhere. They go on forever, to the point where you're just like, oh, am I still watching this film? Like, what even is this? Like I said, no comedy needs to be like 2 hours long. It just doesn't. Especially slapstick comedy. It's a perfect example that the greatest directors, the greatest artists of all time can produce a disaster, under the right conditions. It's like, what I find bizarre as well is, like, let's come up with a comedy that's set in 1941 and involve Pearl Harbor, and like the most unfunny, ridiculous moment in time that you could do a comedy movie. But there's like hardly any narrative. The structure is all over the place. It's a good example, though, of Spielberg using his movie as a toy box and kind of experimenting with things in his own way and like twisting the world to his vision. The movie feels bloated. It's politically all over the place as well. Like, I don't think it's aged that well because of the political comedy that he tried to portray here. Wild that this sits between Close Encounters and Raiders of the Lost Ark. But all in all, it's boring. Like, I've never been so bored and have such a struggle to finish a Spielberg movie in all my life. Absolutely bizarre take. Interestingly, the movie was also pitched to John Wayne, Charlton Heston, and James Stewart for one of the roles in this movie. And after reading the script, John Wayne said no and turned it down. I think they put it to ill health, but he did urge Spielberg not to go ahead with the project. They did say this movie is unpatriotic, which I can kind of get. But again, because of the topic, it's not a film that really has aged that well. And for anyone sitting outside of that time period that doesn't remember that time period, it's probably going to be less effective with them as well. Not even John Williams could save this movie. Insane. I'm going to say this one is the ultimate turd. I can't believe this. Like, a Spielberg movie that isn't good. Like, that's wild. I mean, he has done a few movies that aren't so great, but this is bad. Even on his terms, like, it's not a good movie. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know down in the comment section below your thoughts on the movie. I just can't even believe, like, even the actors couldn't save this. Dan Aykroyd and John Candy, John Belushi, like, insane casting. We are one step further towards Disclosure Day. I can't wait to see that movie, and I will be reviewing that as soon as I can for you guys on opening night. With that being said, I will see you with the next one, guys. Take care of yourselves.